This is Gareth Southgate, and this is the Three Lions podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Three Lions podcast. My name is Russell Osborne and this is an independent England supporters podcast. Here we are, middle of October, where in years gone by, a time that qualification campaigns generally draw to a close. Usually, with England having assured themselves a place at either a Euros or a World Cup. This time around, it was Andorra away and Hungary at home. Would results go our way? Or would we have to wait until November? Coming up on this episode, we will look back on those with a friend of the show, CJ Joyner, who was at both games. Now, don't forget you can listen to any previous episode of the Three Lions podcast on your chosen podcast provider or at threelionspodcast.com. Plenty of good chats with England fans on there. And I'm pleased to say there are still some to come your way. So hit the subscribe button and you shouldn't miss one. Also, if you haven't as yet, you can find the show on all the usual social media channels, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Just search Three Lions Podcast. It should all come up. Also coming up on this episode, we'll also talk Nations League, as following the recent finals, we now know the structure of it for the next edition. But before we do all of that, I thought we'd just take a run through all the other England teams that have been in action during this international window. We'll start with the under-18s. They had two friendly games, played in Marbella in Spain. Coach Ryan Gary took them over there. They faced Norway, where they lost 2-1, and then they beat Russia 3-0. The under-19s. Well, next month, the under-19s are in action against Sweden in a UEFA Euro qualification match. So to get some preparation under their belts, they also went to Marbella for a few games against similar opponents. On the 6th of October, they faced France, lost 3-1. Aston Villa's Aaron Ramsey. Yep, same name, different player. He got the only goal for England. 3 days later, England played Mexico. We ran out 3-1 winners there. They did come from behind to win that game. Aaron Ramsey again. There was an own goal and Chelsea's Harvey Vale got the third. Both Ramsey and Vale had come on as second half substitutes to turn that game around. And then on the 12th of October, England lost to Belgium 3-2. Tottenham's Dane Scarlett scored both of England's goals, but it wasn't enough for them there. We'll keep you updated with that game against Sweden next month in a Euro qualifier for them. The under-20s, they had a couple of games. They played Italy up at Chesterfield. Leeds' Lewis Bate scoring. I say up at Chesterfield. That's because it's up for me. It could be down for you. Could actually be in Chesterfield for you. And then they played away in the Czech Republic. Came away with a 5-0 win. Miguel Aziz from Portsmouth, Jay Stansfield from Fulham, Faustino Anhorn got 2 goals there. He's currently on loan at Lokomotiv Moscow. And Morgan Rogers of Bournemouth got the goals there. And then the under-21s, Euro qualifying for the under-21s. On the 7th of October, they drew with Slovenia away. 2 goals each there, 2-2. Conor Gallagher of Crystal Palace and Cole Palmer of Manchester City put us 2-0 up within 15 minutes. And then a poor second half performance saw Slovenia come back and get a point from that. The under-21s have not lost a European qualifier since November 2011. And this latest result extended that unbeaten run to 47 games. And then on the 11th of October, again in Euro qualifying, and shortly after the senior men had played in Andorra, the under-21s played there. Same ground. They came away with a 1-0 win and 3 points thanks to a goal from Arsenal's Emil Smith-Rowe. This came as England were down to 10 men because Ryan Brewster had been sent off in the first half. In these Euro Under-21 qualifiers, England are in Group G, and these two results meant that they are currently third in the table. Having played 3 games, they are behind Albania and the Czech Republic, but they do have a game in hand on both of them. And they play the Czech Republic at Burnley's Turf Moor next month. And the women, the Lionesses, although they didn't play during our international window, their international window is coming up in a couple of weeks' time because they have games against Northern Ireland, that's at Wembley, and then they're away to Latvia. And of course, these follow the first 2 games of Sarina Weigmann's reign, where they scored 18 goals in 2 games. There was the 8-0 home win over North Macedonia, and then there was the 10-0 away win in Luxembourg. Now, Weigmann revealed her latest squad for the 2023 World Cup qualifiers, of which are being played in Australia and New Zealand. It is a 24-woman squad that sees the return of Aston Villa's goalkeeper Hannah Hampton, Manchester United's forward Alicia Russo, Kira Walsh for Manchester City. She's also back following injury. There's no Ellie Roebuck, no Lucy Bronze, no Steph Horton, as they're still out injured or getting back to fitness. And it's good to see youngsters Sandy McIver, Jessie Carter, Niamh Charles, Lotte Wubben-Moy, Lauren Hemp and Ella Toone. They have all retained their places following those 2 recent wins. But just to go down the full squad, the full 24 players, goalkeepers Mary Earps, Hannah Hampton and Sandy McIver. Defenders Millie Bright, Jess Carter, Niamh Charles, Rachel Daly, Alex Greenwood, Demi Stokes, Lotte Wubben-Moy. In the midfield, Jill Scott, Georgia Stanway, Lucy Stanforth, Kira Walsh, Leah Williamson and Katie Zellum. And then strikers, there are Bethany England, Lauren Hemp, Fran Kirby, Beth Mead, Nikita Paris, Alicia Russo, Ella Toone and Ellen White. And of course, those 2 games against Northern Ireland and Latvia, I'm sure at some point we will look back on those 2 games, hopefully, with rich levity. So stay tuned for that. And good luck to the Lionesses. Now, as I mentioned, it's always good to have CJ with us on the show. And yeah, I'd like to welcome him back to the Three Lions podcast. CJ, you all right?
All good, thanks, Russell. How are you?
Yeah, all good. Good to be speaking with you again. It's been a little while. As I mentioned, you went to Andorra and obviously were at the Hungary game. Let's start with the Andorra game. I mean, I guess from a lot of people's perspective, although there was a lot of people wanting to go, there was probably the apprehension of going abroad for some that maybe put them off. How did you find it all?
Bit frustrating with filling in the forms. Our passenger location form, I felt it was pretty straightforward, really. What took the time really was the Spanish one. Right. The Spanish one, but to get into Barcelona, I mean, I don't know, the people that went through Toulouse, I'm not sure how they got on with the French. I don't know if there's a French one, I don't know. But the Spanish one, it was just a right pain just to do it. A lot of the different sections, the different bits of the form, they weren't necessarily corresponding with what you needed to write in it. You'd write what it asked for and it didn't recognise it. Zip codes, stuff like that. It didn't recognise the zip codes of the hotels and whatever. So yeah, that was a bit of a pain, I've got to say.
But you got there eventually, and obviously stayed in Barcelona.
Yes,
That's fine. I've always have strange feelings about Barcelona. I can't decide whether I like it or not.
I love it. Love Barcelona. I've been there a few times. Yeah, I've had a lot of happy memories of Barcelona. MotoGPs and stuff like that. Montmelo just up the road, and football, travelling through for football. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Loved it.
But obviously, playing against Andorra, there's no direct link into Andorra. So how did you go about getting from Barca to Andorra?
Well, I mean, the people I was with were quite pleased, to be honest, because this time around it wasn't like the 5 or 6, 5 or 6 flights in, a couple of flights in, a couple of flights out. No, this time it was one flight in, one flight out. So we flew out of Luton. We got there the day before, and then we flew back to East Midlands the day after. So we went Friday to Sunday. And yeah, we stayed in a nice hotel, Block 109 hotel. It was very, very good. And
it's the rooftop one, was it?
Yeah, with a rooftop. Well, when I say pool, it's the rooftop sink. It was, there's a few records set in that pool, I tell you, for the length, for the length. But yeah, it was still good. I only went in there the once. I went in there for half an hour, 45, and just had a quick dip. But it was quite refreshing. Did that first thing in the morning, and then on the day of the game. But yeah, nice hotel, very nice.
Yeah. And there was organised coach between Barcelona and Andorra, all sorted and straightforward.
Reasonably, yeah. So there was us. We had kind of 2.5 coaches on the ball. Had about 5, and I think Dean Cornish had maybe 1 or 2. So a good number of coaches from different people, and a bit of a nightmare really because it took about 5 hours to get there because of the traffic. It was it should be a 3-hour journey. I think it took 5. Coach driver would not unlock the toilet, which was
painful.
That was a bit of a nightmare for some people. And he did originally, I think he originally said we'd stop every hour and a half. Didn't do that until about 2.5, 3 hours into the journey. There was a lot of people trying to reach for bottles and all sorts. But either way, we got there at probably about, I think it was something like 4. Yeah, it must have been about 4 when we got there in the afternoon. And the coach driver said, right, I'll see you at 1. And we're like, what, 1? You said to us originally, like, you'd be leaving 11:30. No, you've got to have a 9-hour break. So after the game finished, we had to kind of find somewhere where we could all go, whether it was a fast food restaurant, bar, find somewhere where we could just sit for 2 hours or so, and kind of just wait for the coach to leave.
Oh, well, I mean, I saw plenty of pictures of Andorra and like sort of not the ground, but like the surrounding areas. Look lovely.
Beautiful. Anybody that's kind of on a driving holiday going through France and into Spain, I'd suggest kind of just make a day or 2 days free, just so you can just call into Andorra. Quite cheap. Fill your car, van, motorhome up there, by all means, because it's the fuel's cheap there. There seems to be, I mean, the first thing we noticed when we got in there seemed to be about 15 petrol stations within probably the first mile. Literally, like there's one after the other, including 3 or 4 of the same brand. Like you'd have 3 or 4 Crestas or whatever they're called, and a couple of BPs, all on the same street.
Load of English filling their boots at petrol stations. Who'd have thought it?
Yeah. So, well, yeah. I mean, we were thinking, Christ, imagine what it was like the other week in England. Compare it to here,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think they had that problem.
No.
So, but yeah. So, I mean, as I say, it was quite cheap as well. Food, drinks, quite cheap out there. So, but as I said, well worth a visit. Just to kind of look at the views and stuff. And like they had a river. I guess it would be a river running through the middle of them near the stadium. And that was I've never seen water that clear.
Right.
It's like literally like it just come out the tap. You could just but say a beautiful place.
Yeah. Well, let's just get on to the game. I mean, the day before, I mean, you couldn't make it up, could you, with the TV gantry catching fire, which I don't know. I think it was some sort of electrical fault or something. But yeah, it managed. The game was obviously on. I think a few people got a little bit panicky about it, but I don't think it was ever going to be in that much distress. But yeah, the game, Gareth put out you don't want to call it it's a second string team. He's used his squad members really. Just really quickly run through that. There was Sam Johnston, Kieran Trippier was captain, Ben Chilwell, James Ward-Prowse, John Stones, Connor Cody, Bukayo Saka, Phil Foden, Tammy Abraham, Jesse Lingard and Jadon Sancho. 5-0 win, got the job done. What's the atmosphere like in the ground? What was your general thoughts on it all?
It wasn't, I mean, it's not great for atmosphere because 99% of the stadium's open.
Yeah.
Really, it's not that the odd roof, but it's not where we were anyway. Open, and it's difficult to get yourself up for a game like that. Really, realistically we're going to win. Especially if we've only just played them, we beat them at home, so we knew what to expect from them. I thought they were reasonably well organised, to be honest. One of their players has become one of the favourites in the whole country for his what he said on social media because in falling over with Jadon Sancho. Was he the one that you had on the podcast?
Do you know what? I haven't seen this. I previously spoke to Ildefons Sola.
It might not be him then.
Go on, enlighten me. I haven't heard this.
When he was trying to run after Sancho, he kind of pulled up, felt his hamstring. I think it was him because he's like 41, 42.
That's right, that's him.
Yeah. So ever since on Twitter, he's been doing things like people have said to him, "Oh, don't worry. Thank you for being so open on Twitter, playing to your age and playing international football." And he said, "You're an inspiration to me." He replied effectively saying, "You need to get out more," or something. Things along those lines, or you need to get better aspirations in life, or something like that.
Oh, right.
Somebody said, "Did Sancho give you his shirt?" And he said, "No, he's still running." All sorts of different things. Seems like a really good character to start with. I thought this is a parody account. And then he just goes, but it's a genuine account. And he said about his, somebody said, you wouldn't last 5 minutes against Cristiano Ronaldo or Mbappe. And he said, well, funnily enough, I played him against both for 90 minutes and, showed a picture of him playing against them.
Oh, I'll have to go back and trawl through that. No, he was a nice guy when he came on the pod before. Yeah.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy. Seems like a nice guy on the pod, and seems like a nice guy on socials as well. It's doesn't take life too seriously, and it's good. So there was that, and that caused a few laughs that did with the seeing him. He went down a bit dramatically. Put it that way. I thought it's difficult to assess a performance when you're playing against a team like that. Yeah. Like when you go back to 2018, how can you assess how we played against Panama? For example,
right. Yeah.
When we play San Marino, how can you assess how we play against them? It's not that these teams, they're quite low down. Andorra, admittedly, are a lot better than they used to be, and the Nations League has helped that quite a lot. And you've got to give it to UEFA for creating this competition, which means that they've been able to be competitive alongside teams like Andorra, San Marino, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, people like that. Luxembourg actually as well. I think they've got up to pot 5.
Right.
So I think Andorra are a pot 5 team now, which we've got to remember that they're not a pot 6 team. You could see that they were quite well organised, but it was similar to the home game. Really, they did quite well for the first sort of hour. They just ran out of steam.
Yeah,
we probably could have scored 2 or 3 more than what we did.
Yeah.
So,
well, on the scoring front, obviously Ben Chilwell got his first goal for England. VAR sort of intercepted on that one, and it's just so frustrating when, from a supporter's point of view, you see the ball go in the net, you cheer, then you see VAR come up, and you have to wait a minute and a half, 2 minutes, it felt like, for him to be awarded the goal. And then when you do celebrate, it all, to me, it feels a little bit false, that second celebration. A bit limp. Yeah.
The thing is with that is that I don't think the referee gave it, did he?
Oh, you say he? It was
she.
Yeah.
No, that's a big thing. We'll go on. I've actually got that written down in notes actually to talk about that. But she didn't go kind of give the goal, I don't think. So we were a little bit like, oh, we scored, but I think it's going to be given. I don't think that's going to be given.
No.
So there's been 1 or 2 recently where, there's been the goal's been given as offside, and VAR has overruled it. So you can't have it both ways, really. At the end of the day, I'm looking at it thinking I'd rather everything was just 100% legit all the time, and just and it swings and roundabouts at the end of the day. You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some on it. Yeah. But with regards to that, I think this season it's kind of gone towards the attacking team, if anything. more than what it had been in the past anyway. There's been quite a few goals that have been given offside, and then all of a sudden it's been given, by the VAR, which is good to see, really, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? You don't write down how many tackles a player made at the end. Well, you might do, but they don't go in the win column. The goal, at the end of the day, it's all down to how many goals are scored. And so it's that's what football's all about, really. At the end of the day, so it is good to see. But it's just, as I said, it's just a shame, really, because it was a good goal, and it's a shame that Chilwell couldn't celebrate it straight away. And but at the end of the day, if VAR hadn't have been there, he probably wouldn't have got that goal. So
that is true. Yeah. Well, Saka got on the score sheet. Tammy Abraham after he was recalled. James Ward-Prowse for penalty and then rebound. And then there was Jack Grealish's goal, first England goal, which was the huge assist from Sam Johnston, the large throw. So all in all, a few new names on the score sheet, and rounded off with a 5-0 win. Yeah,
I think we're. I think at the end of the day, we professional performance, and can't really say a lot more about it, really. So I was quite happy with it. I thought the game was a bit dull, but all in all, professional performance.
Go on, and you mentioned the all-female lineup of referees assistants. I kind of think, okay, they're professionals in their job. Do they really need to get as much publicity in doing the role? They're just there to do the job, and as a male referee should be. They've done a good job on the night, I thought.
I don't think they performed too badly at all, really. Yeah. There's one or two decisions I looked at. I thought, okay.
But you're going to get that with any.
Yeah. Saw a few comments on social media that I didn't like, really, after the game, because we didn't have any phone signal in there. We couldn't use 4G, 5G, whatever. But afterwards, when we were waiting for our coach, we... I noticed on Twitter some people complaining about them and referring to the gender, and I'm thinking, that's not right. At the end of the day, if they're at the top of their profession, why can't they come and referee? And it'd be the same as the other way around. At the end of the day, I've got no problem with men refereeing women's football. It's just, if they're capable of doing the job, I don't think gender should come into it either way.
Yeah, no, absolutely, fully agree, and I'm sure we'll see it at another England game in due course, an all female refereeing team, which then brings us on to last night's game as we're recording at the moment at Wembley, Hungary at home. Although winning in Andorra, a win against Hungary still wouldn't have assured us a place in Qatar because results went differently or against us, I guess. On the Andorra night. So obviously we wanted to get a win. Didn't materialise that, did it? And it was a strange night last night, I felt. It was one of those games where I was chatting with a friend of mine throughout the game, and I like to generally try and keep my eyes on the game, but it was I found it a bit too easy just to have a chat.
Difficult, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The game itself was dull. Thought there's been a lot of unnecessary criticism. Well, I think criticism is right. At the end of the day, we drew 1-1 Hungary. On the face of it, you think, we should be beating Hungary. We matched their result against France. We battered them in the game before that. So I'm not going to overreact and say, Southgate needs to go and blah, 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 like we were listening to on TalkSport last night. I'm kind of the other way with it. I look at it and think he tried something different. We went with one screen, so to speak, one holding midfielder.
Yeah. Well, he gave us the excitement that we sort of wanted, didn't he? He changed it around. Let me just quickly run through the team for those that maybe don't know. Pickford, Walker, Luke Shaw, Declan Rice, John Stones, Tyrone Mings, Jack Grealish, Phil Foden, Harry Kane, Raheem Sterling, Mason Mount. So he's given us, like you say, that one screen and the three attacking options. Didn't come off, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that we missed Phillips a lot.
It's noticeable, wasn't it?
Maybe, and I don't know, maybe we should have played Henderson in there with hindsight. If we would have played Henderson in there, I think we probably would have won, to be honest. But I think what Southgate said is 100% bang on, I think. He said, we tried to be more attacking, and because we tried to be more attacking, we became less attacking or more defensive, or words to that. Now, I personally think that the way how we set up normally, where we've got those two defensive midfielders, it effectively means that they can soak up the pressure, not only in front of the back four, but also halfway between sort of the box and the halfway line, and they can kind of dictate play. You've effectively got two quarterbacks on the pitch.
Right, yeah.
You know, generally when that happens in the NFL, you've got two. If you've got a secondary quarterback or whatever that might be on there, every so often you bring them out, the opposition immediately don't know what to do because they don't know where the ball's going to be coming from. Now, when we look at what we do normally with those two defensive midfielders, I'd like to look at them as not necessarily just defensive midfielders, but they're also attacking as well. They patrol that area, that kind of first half of the opponent's half that we go into. And if the ball goes into the box and it gets headed out, it will generally get played back to them, and then they will reset the play. And that's kind of what we need. Last night we had one person basically patrolling that whole area, and this is the issue. People have been streaming out for a long time saying, we need to play this player, we need to play this player, we've got all this attacking talent, let's play them. But it showed last night that if we don't stick to what we're good at and what we know, we stifle that extra player that we put in further forward and the players that would have been there anyway. So I'm very much in favour of going back to, the two holding. I wouldn't have a problem going back to the two, and I personally would like to see it like that for the foreseeable anyway.
I mean, it could have gone our way, and then people would have been saying, "Oh, told you so."
Right.
And it's not to say that it may work against someone else, and we may see it again at some point. But I think, as you say, we've been playing how we've been playing for so long, and we've been getting the results that we've been getting for so long. So why, if it's not broken,
why fix it?
Why fix it? Okay, with no Phillips in the squad, perhaps he felt the need to give it a go this time. It could have gone one of two ways, three ways. But I think the important thing is we didn't lose, and we still came out unscathed. John Stones got the goal with a header. Could have had two goals from a header, couldn't he?
Yeah.
A point for there, and hopefully qualification assured next month in November. The last episode, I spoke with Thomas Mortimer from the Hungarian football podcast, and obviously we mentioned about the previous issues with Hungary, and I think I said something along the lines of, I can almost guarantee 99% that there will be no issues this time at Wembley being at home. And how wrong can you be? There was a few issues right at the beginning of the game. The taking of the knee didn't go down particularly well with the Hungarian fans, and to be honest, I was surprised that with the amount of Hungarian fans that were there, although I assume they were English based. Yeah,
I believe. Well, I've seen a lot of the lot in the. Not in the papers, but on their websites, they're referring to them being both Hungarian and Polish.
Yes, I've seen that. Yeah.
So I don't. There seems to be some kind of connection between. Some kind of historical connection between them, and they've. The Polish were there to support the Hungarians yesterday. So what I do feel is I feel their fans let their players down. There was some boos for their own player, one of their own players yesterday. Which, that I didn't like that at all. Didn't like the fact that they're booing our players, certain individuals on our team. And I think I think UEFA and FIFA need to act. There's a number of issues going on at the moment. You look at what happened with Albania, Poland yesterday, and you think that shouldn't be happening. And what we saw in the away end last night and what we saw in the home end in Budapest.
Yes. Yeah.
So, It can't continue. You know, at the end of the day, fans need to behave themselves. They need to be respectable. They need to, you know, they just need to not be racist and discriminatory against people that could be sat next to them, people that are in front of them playing on the pitch, and people that are sat in across the whole stadium that they're playing in.
Yeah, and people need to feel safe.
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily like the sanitised nation about the notion of what some people would like football to be: clean, turn up, hold hands, you know, have a cuddle after the game, you know, all that sort of thing. You know, especially at the moment, you know, you can't cuddle anybody, you know, still. But still, I'm still. I like it to be an edge. I preferred Ninian Park to the Cardiff City Stadium. You know, that's because it was edgy going there. Yeah. I'm a Coventry fan. People used to love going to Highfield Road because it was a bit of an edge. It was a bit edgy going there compared to what it is at the CBS Arena as it is now. But ultimately, you still want to go there and like not see the scenes of what we saw. The way how they treated our police, I thought was disgraceful. I thought that they were quite ill-equipped, to be honest. I'm surprised they didn't have. Yeah, they just seemed to be in their normal uniforms. They weren't wearing any sort of protection at all.
Well, there was a piece, I think, written in either the Guardian or the Observer where they said that there was going to be a higher police presence. I didn't necessarily feel that.
I think they were up to hiding to nothing, to be honest. The moment they went in there to try and stop it, I think there was an issue with a banner or something, or a couple of banners that caused some upset from the fans. From I think it was on the left-hand side as you look at their section. So the fans on the kind of in the England end on the left-hand side caused a bit of upset. And then from the police as well, I think they caused a bit of upset with them. But so they tried to remove the banner and then all the banners, and then it started to kick off. And I thought they just seemed to be going in hiding to nothing really, because they didn't look like they were in any sort of like protective gear or anything.
No.
And when you go in like that, automatically, you know, these fans are going to look at that and think, okay, well, we can probably just drive them out.
And they did.
And they did, yeah. So there needs to be huge questions asked by FIFA and UEFA about this.
Probably will be questions asked of Wembley again, because they managed to get a smoke grenade in.
Yeah.
I mean, when we're told as supporters that we have to go through airport security effectively, you can only have an A4 clear bag. Yet we struggle to get a sandwich in.
Yeah. I mean, during the Euros, I was able to take my flag in for the 6 games. I think it was 4. Two of the games it didn't go in, just simply because of they're saying it was dangerous. And there was a chap who said due to health and safety. And there's a chap that came in at the same time as me, and he said, "Well, my flag's 10 foot. It's too big. It's too big for your rules. But why is his flag more dangerous than mine?" So, and then during the Euros as well in 2016, exactly the same issue. Didn't take it to any of the group games. Well, I did, but I just couldn't get it in. Same 2018, there was problems with people taking flags in. You're thinking, so you struggle to take a flag in, but you can take a smoke grenade, and you can take all sorts of things in it. It just I don't. Obviously, you can't search every person, every inch of every person, and you can just only imagine how these things get into stadiums.
Probably best not to think too much about that. That's for the authorities to think about. And to be fair, I've got nothing really against. This sounds really sort of strange. I've got nothing against like a smoke grenade, because I think it almost gives it that edgier atmosphere that you mention, but you have to draw a line. Well, it's for safety restrictions, isn't it? Well, yeah, Wembley get another opportunity next month to see what they can do and make things safe when we've got Albania coming to England, and then it's away to San Marino, and then I think it should be done and dusted with Albania, shouldn't it?
It should be. We should beat them. I mean, what was 2 points clear of Poland, I think. So was always looking at how far ahead we were of Poland, not of Albania, with all due respect to them. I mean, I know they're a lot better than they used to be, Albania, but it was always Poland. I was thinking we needed to finish ahead of. We finish ahead of Poland, we win the group.
Yeah,
I feel that we should beat Albania. Let's face it. If we don't beat them, then it will start to get a little bit worrying. But we've got a virtual guaranteed 3 points after that anyway. With all due respect to them, away from home in Sarajevo, and I think it's another one to look forward to. I think been there before, and it's lovely place. Again, it's another one like Andorra that you've got to fly into somewhere else and then drive, get
trains,
a coach,
buses,
whatever. Whatever. It's just you've got to get it. It's difficult to get over there, isn't it? So, well, it's not the easiest place to get to. So, but still, it's still one to look forward to, and it's one that hopefully we can all be at. And I mean, I've seen rumours of 200 tickets, and I've seen rumours of 1,500. I've seen rumours of 2,000 to 3,000, as many as we wanted.
Yeah.
So which would probably be enough to satisfy demand, I would say, because it's not like a lot of people haven't been there before.
That's right. There's a big hill if you don't get a ticket as well.
Well, exactly. Yeah, you can sit there with a beer if you wanted to. Yeah. So and watch.
Yeah, plenty to get excited about, and for next month. But on a personal note, I know you've got a little bit of exciting news coming up, and I just wanted to wish you all the best for your forthcoming nuptials. Yeah,
this Saturday, 16th. Yeah, it's something to look forward to, isn't it? The big football theme on there. So
is there?
Yeah, big football theme. We've got the tables are all named after Coventry City players. You've got the Dion Dublin table to your Michael Misford table. So so plenty of quality players on there, and it's very very much football themed.
Good stuff. Well, all the very best to yourselves and Hannah as well.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Russell.
Thanks to CJ there. Always good to speak with him. Do you know what? We didn't even talk about the penalty that Hungary won and subsequently scored from. But watching the highlights back, I was in the top tier looking down on that one, and I needed to look at the highlights to see that was never a penalty. Never a penalty in a month of Sundays. They stole that one from us. Now, let's talk Nations League for a moment. Because whilst we were in action against Andorra and Hungary, the second Nations League finals were taking place. They took place in Italy. I think they were in Milan and Turin. It kind of feels like this one passed us by, as we weren't allowed access to any of the group games for it, as they were played at the height of the COVID lockdown back through September, October and November last year. Remember them? We came third in a group with Belgium, Denmark and Iceland. Of course, the first outing of the tournament saw us all take a trip to Portugal, where we came third after we lost to the Dutch in the first game, then beat Switzerland on penalties. Now, that most recent finals of the tournament, well, that saw France beat Spain in the final after they'd beaten hosts Italy, and perennial underachievers Belgium. Are they really ever going to be seen as a world force, as the best world force, to never win a trophy? I don't know. So the next instalment of this tournament is a good tournament. I'm really enjoying the Nations League. What's the deal? Now, with the World Cup being held in November and December of next year, this means the qualifying phase of it has been shifted to June and September next year, 2022. Now, it looks like the match days are as follows. We've got match day 1 will take place between the 2nd and 4th of June. Match day 2, 5th and 8th of June. Match day 3, 8th and 11th of June. And match day 4, 12th and 14th of June. That means we'll have 4 games in early June. Where they'll be, we don't know, but we'll get onto that in a moment. Then match day 5 will be between the 22nd and 24th of September next year, and match day 6th will be the 25th to the 27th of September. So as I say, 4 games in June. All looks good for some summertime holidaying destinations, doesn't it? But who could we play and when do we find out? Let me enlighten you. Let's start with the draw date. 16th of December this year. It is a Thursday. It'll be 5 p.m. UK time and it'll be drawn from UEFA's HQ in Switzerland. Now currently England are ranked 9th in League A. Now as before, League A will be split into 4 groups of 4. So that's 4 pots of 4 teams to be drawn. France, as current winners, are ranked first and will be in pot 1 alongside all those teams that featured in this year's finals. So that's Spain, Italy and Belgium. So none of those can be drawn against each other. However, we will be drawn against one of them. So we will definitely face one of France, Spain, Italy or Belgium. Pot 2 contains Portugal, the Netherlands, Denmark and Germany. We will face one of those. Pot 3, as I mentioned, that is the group that we are in, alongside Poland, Switzerland and Croatia. So we can't be drawn against any of those. So no trips there. Then pot 4 features the promoted sides from the previous tournament. And they are Wales, Austria, Czech Republic and Hungary. So we will definitely be facing one of those. So now this is where you start to look at all those different countries and thinking a few things to yourself. Who do you fancy us against? Or where do you want to go following England? For me, a few different scenarios. We've not played Italy in Italy for some time now, or had the opportunity to invade Belgium, as it's well known. Spain, well, could it be potentially played at Madrid, Seville? Of course, that was a recent destination for those that remember the Nations League a few years back. Portugal, Netherlands, Denmark, Germany. Netherlands and Germany, they always seem to come around, although not sort of competitively. Generally always been friendlies. And Germany, their last away competitive game in Germany was the 5-1 in 2001. But personally, I think I'd like to see us a chance to play in Portugal. That'd be good. Then in pot 4, Wales, nice and close. And from a personal perspective, I've never seen us play there before. Austria, we were due to go there a year or so back, but it was cancelled. Czech Republic, well, I went to Prague a few years back and we lost. And of course, well, Hungary. There was the recent issues that we don't need to go on about anymore. So, yeah, I'm not keen on going there, to be honest. But that's the Nations League. We will, of course, touch more on that come December time when that draw is made. But, yeah, that's just giving you a little flavour, little outline of what is to come in the Nations League. There we go. That'll do for this episode. Thank you, as always, for listening. Glad you could join me. Thank you also to CJ, Coventry and England fan, CJ Joyner. He's on Twitter at CJCovBlaze, I think it is. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Also, just a quick one. Hi to the 2 Ipswich lads I met at the Bobby Moore statue just outside Wembley on Tuesday. We had a good old natter for 10 minutes. Sorry, I've forgotten your names, but I recognise faces. I may see you again. And I know that flag when I see it. Once again, as I mentioned at the top of the show, you can find the podcast on all the usual social media outlets, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Just search for it there. If you're up for giving us a nice little review on the likes of iTunes, go on, why not? Why not? I'll be back again very soon with another episode. Feel free to get in touch if you want to contribute. You can do that. Email, 3lionspodcast@gmail.com. Hopefully, we'll do another Your First England Away Game episode soon. So stand by your downloads for that one. So until then, take care, look after yourselves. Cheers.